Does Stephen Breyer's retirement mean the Dems are preparing to lose in the midterms?
And is Wisconsin decertifying their 2020 electors? Let's talk about it.
Will you take questions on inflation then?
Thank you. Thank you
Do
all.
you think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Alright, so we're starting off with an AP article that talks about the process that will go into deciding who the next Supreme Court Justice will be. This is the article. Democrats seek swift confirmation to fill Supreme Court seat. An article by Marie-Claire Jelinek and Lisa Mascaro. So, Washington, according to the AP, Senate Democrats who have played defense for the last three Supreme Court Senate Democrats who have played defense for the last three Supreme Court vacancies plan to move swiftly to replace retiring Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. Using the rapid 2020 confirmation of Justice Amy Coney Barrett as a new standard. Barrett was confirmed exactly a month after President Donald Trump nominated her to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and just 5 weeks after Ginsburg's death in September of that year. Democrats sharply criticized that timeline then, arguing that most confirmations had taken much longer and that Republicans were trying to jam the nomination through in case Trump lost re-election.
That's not how that works.
Right. And, okay, so he lost re-election. What did she do to help him? Like, where's the proof? Like, where you can't even back your stuff up.
Yeah. But, I mean, in ways, you can kind of say, okay, yes, they were playing some party politics in that.
But
sense.
It happened in September.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with it happening in a month?
Yeah, no,
Like,
it was just... They got mad at how quick it was, so...
Yeah, it was
it's a
pretty
seat
quick.
that needs to be filled, though.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do? Stop hearing cases? Have a huge backlog of cases?
I remember
I don't understand the issue.
I remember they were really mad about Merrick Garland not being able to get a position on the Supreme Court right before Obama left. Because the Republicans had control, and they were like, nah, bro. We're not letting Merrick Garland be anywhere near the Supreme Court. And, yeah.
Yeah.
But now that they hold the presidency and the Senate, though just barely, Democrats navigating the complicated politics of a 50-50 chamber are eyeing a similarly swift schedule, even if Breyer does not officially step down until the summer. In statements, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, our beautiful state, and Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Dick Durbin, that's a great name, a Democrat from Illinois,
Of course.
made clear that they would move quickly once President Obama...
Starting to sound like Jen Paskey. Or
Jen Psaki?
Paskey.
Jen Psaki.
Yes.
Clip right here. But he made it clear that they would move quickly once former Vice President Joe Biden made his pick. Biden said as a candidate that if he were given the chance to nominate someone to the court, he would make history by choosing a black woman. The White House has reiterated Biden's campaign pledge since his election.
Yes, it's all about the brownie points. Who gains the most history.
Yep.
Not actually, is that person good for us or not?
Right.
Well,
Like it's based on
it's
just,
diversity
she's...
for the sake of diversity.
Yeah, true. I can see that.
Like, I'm perfectly fine with literally whoever it is as long as they're qualified.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't give us some weird person who's not...
Don't
who's
give
like,
us, like,
Don't give
every
us a
single
diversity
shade
pick.
of the rainbow of
Right.
different people.
But, like, I can well, it's probably going to be a black lady.
I think that's what they said it is.
Yeah,
Is that-
it's definitely going
It's
to be.
definitely going to be.
Kamala would be a funny person to put there.
How would that even work?
How so? What are you saying?
Like, how can she
I don't
be
think there's a
Supreme
law
Court
against
Justice
it.
and Vice President?
I don't think she would be.
She'd have to give up one to do the other.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's somewhere.
But think about this.
I think that would be a good option for her, though.
I was going to say, she can't be voted out.
Yeah.
And that's her best argument.
Right. Like, if she... I don't know... Like, I've seen how, like, the media's been saying, like, they hate each other. And it's like, if they really hate each other, then she needs to go somewhere. Because you can't run a country and hate each other.
No, and her being on the Supreme Court would really mess with him.
Exactly.
But then again, her being on the Supreme Court...
Might fuck up everything else.
Well, it might be the exact thing that Biden needs to get, like, everything that he wants through.
True.
That's a scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she did do anything to get to her current position. I wonder what she would do to sway the votes of the other justices.
Oh, sad.
She's got a lot of experience, man. A lot of experience.
She climbed that ladder once, she can go back down it again.
What the heck?
See, but it's like a fireman's pole at the end of the line, at the top. So that's pretty nice. It's very quick. Schumer said the nominee will be considered and confirmed by the full United States Senate with all deliberate speed. Durbin said he looks forward to moving the nomination expeditiously through the committee. Okay, at this point, it's just like trying to be an asshole. Like, they're just trying to do the same exact thing. They don't care about the speed. They're just like, we're just gonna do it quick. We just want to do it quick. Like, because in reality, this guy might not even...
It's just a game show.
Yeah.
It is.
In reality, this guy might not even retire until the summer.
And it's like, if you think about it, they were just talking about how they were complaining about how quickly they wanted to do it under Trump, and yet here they are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So they're not leading by example.
No.
It's like, oh, so you hate it, but you're going to do it anyway?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really
you think
a
it's
lot
an attack
of
on
hypocrisy.
democracy,
They're both
but
just,
you're going to do it anyway?
Yeah, they're both just mudslingers.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. They literally don't care, and the public just doesn't fucking see it, and it's stupid.
I think they're just too dumb to say. Not too dumb, but like, they just don't want to say anything. They just don't care.
Yeah.
I always saw them do that with, like, Obama. Oh my god, look at him. He's playing golf instead of doing stuff for the country. And then they did the exact same to Trump.
Right.
Like, I remember that.
The nomination offers the chance at a reset for Biden in the Democratic Senate after Barrett's confirmation left the court with a new 6-3 conservative majority, and as they have struggled to pass key planks of Biden's policy agenda. They have struggled to pass key planks of Biden's policy agenda. No, what that means is that Biden's agenda is so unconstitutional.
Super unconstitutional.
That, like, it doesn't say that, they've struggled. It's Biden has struggled to get anything passed.
What a weak leader.
Judicial system.
Really, though.
Put out some real laws. Put out some things that aren't, I guess, this country's moral.
And why does this matter? Like, why does Biden's policies getting shot down by the Senate and stuff like that matter in a judicial matter?
Yeah.
Like, they don't make laws. They just decide if they're constitutional or not, if it's brought before them.
Exactly. And AP is a biased source. AP is a lefty source, and we're seeing already that there's a ton of slander.
I've never heard from AP.
Isn't AP the one that does all the election shit?
AP, yeah, everybody goes to AP
Forbes
for
is
news.
so bad, too. I remember that last episode. Oh, last 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all have a crazy left agenda.
Yeah.
Democrats hope to replace the 83-year-old liberal justice without complication, and some Republicans may be willing to support a Biden nominee. Would they? Would we really? How many people really trust in what Biden wants to do?
I don't trust Biden at all.
Right.
No. Democratic leaders are keenly aware that the death or illness of just one in their ranks could flip control of the Senate and upend their plans. Senate plans to launch the confirmation process as soon as Biden makes the nomination, regardless of when Breyer officially steps away. According to a Senate
They're
aide...
gonna bribe him out.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, why don't you, like, get out? You're getting old.
I thought they stayed that job until they die, like they don't retire.
It's up to you.
Yeah. You can either retire or just stay there until death.
He is 83.
Yeah. So he probably didn't have much longer to go anyway. So why not stop a couple
Yeah.
years early? My thing is,
Yeah.
I understand, like, okay, yeah,
But
you're a Supreme
Ruth Bader
Court
Ginsburg,
justice.
she was old as hell, wasn't she?
I think so, yeah. My thing is, you're a Supreme Court justice. Like, why is it any different from your normal job? Like, why don't you work until an age where you have enough money that you're comfortable, and then retire?
Yeah.
Like, it can't be that awesome of a job to be like, no, I'm going to work it till I die.
Ultimate power.
Yeah.
Is it really ultimate power?
Well, you
though? Like,
worked
they don't.
You
so
are.
hard for it. You worked so
You
hard
just
in
undo
law.
policy.
You
You're
and
the
eight... hold
best
on.
lawyers.
You and 8 others control the fate of this country.
It's huge.
True. Yeah.
If you, like, you are one of the checks. You and 8 people are the checks on society.
And you saw the process of Amy Coney Barrett,
Mm-hmm.
her whole questioning, and then the notepad that didn't have anything on it.
Yeah.
Because she just memorized the Constitution.
Yeah.
Like, memorized it. Like, I would want somebody like that to be my judge.
Oh, 100%. Like,
yeah.
I think these people have earned it, but that's what I mean.
Absolutely.
Like, at that point, like, you've worked your entire career, you've gotten where you need to be. Like, you've gotten to the highest court in the fucking country. I understand, like, obviously you clearly love your job and what you're doing, but wouldn't you get tired and want to stop? Like, that's my thing.
No, I totally
Aren't you
get
sick
that.
of this shit?
Right. Although I'm sure the Supreme Court cases are, like, much better to deal with than whatever they dealt with in the lower courts.
That's very fair. Like,
Because it's mostly, is something constitutional or not, or, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, is this something that the government can do?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's being bribed. Because if he made it this long...
Yeah.
He looks pretty spry for an 83-year-old man.
Right.
Mhm.
Democrats could quickly hold committee hearings and even a full vote in the Senate before Breyer steps down, the aide said. The Senate could just refrain from sending the president the paperwork on the final confirmation vote until Breyer has retired. With such a narrow majority, Schumer will face heavy pressure to keep his caucus united. 2 Democratic moderates, Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kristen Sinema of Arizona, have repeatedly bucked their party on policy goals and could oppose a Supreme Court nominee if they consider that person too liberal. Awesome. That's great. We got some people that are, like, in the middle, and it's great with a 50-50 minority.
Right.
Well, not with a 50-50 majority, just because the vice president. That's awesome. That's great. You know, that's how it should be. I would love for it. It might make more sense to have like 50 people that,
Yeah.
like, every state gets a person, and you elect a Republican and a Democrat,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep it always that way. And the, well, then again, no. Because if you always have it as the vice president is the final vote, then, you know, you could get to a point where it's always one side. So I can see why it makes more sense to do it the other way. Why do we ever doubt our founding fathers?
True.
Honestly, they really... If you really think about it, too, like, they created a new country.
Yeah, something that's never been done.
And has been a world power for years.
Yeah. Like, highly
Was.
Do you think
influential
they
people have come
imagined us
here
getting to this point?
for a better life.
You can tell that they didn't by what George Washington was saying.
Yeah.
Well, some of them I can imagine were.
I feel like they planned for like a presidency or like a power being held by someone like Biden or like what the Democrats are.
Or Trump.
Yeah.
Could you... You're telling me 250 years ago Trump would have been the guy that you think would have been president.
Oh, true. But I think that they foresaw, like, us having some fucked up shit happening.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like what we're seeing now. And so, like, they
9/11.
built our stuff around it.
That's why they tried to create a set of laws that could govern us in a proper way.
Right. That keeps the federal government in check.
Oh, yeah. With such a narrow...
Interesting. Sorry.
My bad. In a statement, Manchin said he takes the Senate's role to advise and consent on Supreme Court nominations very seriously and looks forward to meeting and evaluating the eventual nominee. That's great. We want somebody who's going to vet the process, who's going to be a vet of the person, and who's going to just give us a good opinion. If they're a good Supreme Court justice,
I honestly agree.
let them be a Supreme Court justice.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Democrats will be hoping for a handful of Republican votes. Senators Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, for example, all voted last year to confirm U.S. Circuit Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of Biden's possible nominees. Graham indicated in a statement Wednesday that he's unlikely to support Biden's pick. However, it may be. That's funny.
That is.
Thank God, Lindsay. You little bitch. If all Democrats hang together, which I expect they will, they have the power to replace Justice Breyer in 2022 without one Republican vote in support, Graham said. Elections have consequences, and that is most evident when it comes to fulfilling vacancies on the Supreme Court. So he's kind of saying, eat turds, Democrat, this is what you voted for.
Yep.
Collins told reporters in Augusta, Maine, on Wednesday that she was waiting for a formal nomination. Meanwhile, she said the process should take the time needed. As you know, I felt that the timetable for the last nominee was too compressed. This time there is no need for any rush. We can take our time, have hearings, go through the process, which is a very important one. It is a lifetime appointment after all, said Collins.
Lifetime, except this one's being forced to retire, essentially.
Practically.
Interesting.
Right. Oh, it's a lifetime, except for this guy.
Maybe he's just really with that
Why
diversity.
do Democrats cheat? Like, it's really just
Because that's the
cheating.
only way that they can get their policies through. That's the only way that it would actually work for them. That's how shitty their policies are, that it literally can't pass unless they go around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been studies on that. It's actually kind of true. How they spread their word, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It will be the first time Democrats have had a Senate majority and the opportunity to fill a Supreme Court vacancy in more than 11 years, since Justice Elena Kagan was confirmed in 2010. The GOP-led Senate has confirmed 3 justices, all nominated in Trump's term: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett.
There were
I forgot
3.
about Neil Gorsuch.
Yeah.
I don't know the first one.
I remember his whole thing. I just completely forgot about him.
Alright, I don't really remember much about it. So explain.
They didn't really do too much. It was just like your basic nomination.
He was just... Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
his
sense.
was like the most normal of all of them.
Yeah.
There wasn't a 30-year-old rape case that had no backing to it.
He raped
And
me
it
in high
wasn't
school.
a Christian pro-life woman that no one wanted. Even though she was probably more qualified than the last 2 people nominated.
No,
Oh,
that's
she
okay.
definitely was. I watched them.
Oh, yeah. So it's like... It's just a circus. It's a fucking clown show.
it's awesome. We love it. Party politics!
Woo!
All 3 of those confirmation battles were bitter for Democrats. Gorsuch was confirmed a year after Republicans blocked President Barack Obama's choice to serve on the court, now Attorney General Merrick Garland. Kavanaugh was confirmed after a wrenching hearing in which a high school acquaintance, Christine Blasey Ford, charged that he had sexually assaulted her. Kavanaugh angrily denied it. And was proven he didn't.
Right. Like they
Let's-
did an investigation.
Let's talk about that.
Right.
Jesus. The AP for it.
They have nothing else to talk about.
They don't. It's always the same things because they don't have anything else on Trump. And even the stuff that they do have on Trump is nothing.
Yeah.
But the stuff that they have on Biden is.
They literally are reading off of his notes.
Right.
It's amazing. Barrett was confirmed in 2020, replacing liberal icon Ginsburg and shifting the balance of the court. She reminds me of Greta Thunberg. Ginsburg.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, before we keep going, my thing is, you know how they were talking about how the Democrats want to pack the court
Yes.
by adding justices and, maybe
Mhm.
an uneven balance? You can kind of argue that the Republicans did that. Because now we have a majority, although I would say that Amy Coney Barrett and the last three, while they do lean more conservative, they aren't like diehard conservative. Like I think even Justice Kavanaugh voted in agreement with Democrat
Yeah.
justices
Yeah.
on the the healthcare mandate, vaccine
Mhm.
mandate to go.
With the nurses.
Yeah. So it's like, while you can argue that he did, or that they did, it's also like, but they're not far.
But like, when we say pack the court, we're talking about actually pack the court
yeah,
and like,
adding justice.
yeah, that's a problem.
Right. They just fucking took off the balance.
Yeah, no, exactly. They want to be like, hey, we want to beat this.
Right.
It's not fair that they have an advantage right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair that the Senate was, for 11 years, Republican.
True. But that's how the cookie crumbles. That's what happens. They voted. That's what the people did.
Yep.
Good.
With the roles switched, frustrations have lingered on both sides about the increasingly partisan confirmation battles. Whoever the president nominates will be treated fairly and with the dignity and respect someone of his or her caliber deserves. Something not afforded to Justice Kavanaugh and other Republican nominees in the past, said Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas, who was on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky declined to comment on BREYER's retirement, saying he did not want to put the cart before the horse, before the justice made an official announcement. So that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, what's to say, like, he doesn't feel obligated now just to retire? Because everyone's like, oh, well, he's retiring. He's retiring.
Him making a comeback would be funny.
It would be. Like Pelosi.
He's like, I don't like
I'm
that
gonna
woman.
retire."
I'm coming back. He's entitled to do that whenever he chooses, McConnell told reporters at an event in his home state. And when he does that, I'll have a response to his long and distinguished career. Will you, Mitch? That'll be beautiful. I'm excited to hear that. Democratic senators quickly joined the effort to make Biden's election historic. The first black woman to be a justice.
Wow.
The court should reflect the diversity of our country, and it is unacceptable that we have never in our nation's history had a black woman sit in the Supreme Court of the United States. I want to change that, said Senator Patty Murray of Washington, the third-ranking Democrat. That makes sense, actually.
Right.
You know, one seat actually, you know, if I'm doing the math, it's about 11%, right,
Mhm.
of the Supreme Court. So, like, you know, it kind of makes sense. It's right around, you know, let's get a black person on. But, like, I said this when Hillary Clinton was running for president, and I was like, I'm all for diversity, but not for the sake of diversity.
Right.
Mm,
Exactly.
I
But
was
that's
like,
what Democrats are.
I was like,
Right.
I would love a woman to be president. Like, that would be awesome.
Right.
But give me
A better option.
yeah, give me a woman that I want to vote for.
Right.
No, like, and I know they're out there. maybe they're just too smart and like say, no, I'm stay away from that.
Right.
I think it's all a game. Like,
Yeah.
I played the game, but some people are just like, I think Tulsi's one of them. She was one of the lowest voted Democrats in the for the primary.
She's not very Democrat. She's not very
Yeah.
liberal.
Right. So it's just like she's honestly very sane. And this is my opinion. You know, I think she's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
But
I've liked a lot of what she says.
exactly. Like, she's less of in your business, like less
Right.
government almost.
She's
you
like
know?
a traditional liberal.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Free as that.
Yeah, but she was least popular, so I think it does depend on your other peers
Well,
and
she wasn't as unpopular as Kamala Harris. Let's be clear.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, jeez.
I really don't understand that vice president pick.
No.
Diversity.
Well, it was diversity for the sake of diversity. Durbin said Biden has the opportunity to nominate someone who will bring diversity, experience, and an even-handed approach to the administration of justice. In addition to Jackson, other potential nominees are California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger and U.S. District Judge Michelle Childs, whom Biden has nominated to be an appeals court judge. Childs is a favorite of Rep. James Clyburn, a Democrat from South Carolina, who made a crucial endorsement of Biden just before the state's presidential primary in 2020. Many of Biden's judicial nominees have reflected his pledge to diversify the federal judiciary, both racially and professionally. He will also face some pressure to appoint a younger judge who could shape the court for decades. A top consideration of Trump for his judicial picks. Jackson is 51, Childs is 55, and Kruger is 45. Biden made it a point in the lead-up to the South Carolina primary that catapulted him to the Democratic nomination that he was looking forward to making sure there's a black woman on the Supreme Court, to make sure we in fact get every representation.
Yes, because apparently black people are significantly different than other people.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you know skin color is the only thing that matters?
Exactly, and it's just...
I would like to also say, with all the LGBTQIA, MVS, DMV, plus, and all of the new bi races, people create races nowadays. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
So, are we really getting everybody represented? Is that how Biden plans on packing the court? He wants to get everybody represented, so he's
All
gonna
76 genders.
Right.
Could you
All
imagine?
different backgrounds.
Could you imagine? He's like, we need
Child
to
abuse, no
represent.
child abuse.
Listen,
Legal immigrant,
listen,
illegal immigrant.
listen. We need to represent all genders. Come on, man. I remember back old days with Corn Pop when he would tell me, you know,
Are we gonna get a corpse to represent the dead voters?
I just didn't like girls.
This is Johnny, he voted for you. And now we want to bring up an article from PolitiFact on proposed legislation that would decertify the votes for president and vice president if passed.
It begins. Wisconsin Assembly votes to remove electoral votes from Biden. So, this is something that I was saying this week, that once the news broke that this Republican rep, Timothy Rampton, proposed this legislature, I was like, let's look into this, because this is big news. This is something that we should definitely be looking into before we're going to say, this is absolutely what happened, this is absolutely what's going on, holy crap. Because that's a big deal. That's more than just,
This would be like the first time in history that this has happened.
Absolutely. And this late,
Right. Like this is a year in.
this would be a really big thing.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen, as people are completely saying so far. So, let's go into this. PolitiFact, lefty bias, I'm just going to say that. We're not usually going to check their articles, but they get it mostly right on this. The 2020 presidential election results have been checked, affirmed, and certified every way that they're supposed to be. But futile efforts to overturn them keep popping up and feeding misinformation. Wisconsin Republican State Rep. Timothy Ramthun introduced a resolution at an assembly floor session on January 25th seeking to recall the state's 10 electoral ballots awarded to President Joe Biden, alleging they were fraudulently certified. His effort failed, but that didn't stop some people on social media from claiming victory. A Facebook post reads, "It begins. Wisconsin Assembly votes to remove electoral votes from Biden." Above a link to an article from United America First, the headline says, "Bombshell, Wisconsin Assembly votes to withdraw its 10 electors for Joe Biden in 2020 election."
Well, they're also saying that it's a failed effort when, isn't it just proposed? They haven't even voted on it yet?
Mm-hmm.
So, PolitiFact is also putting out false information. So where's the fact checkers for PolitiFact? And didn't in one of the recent lawsuits against Facebook and their fact checkers, didn't Facebook admit that their fact checkers for Facebook specifically are just pushing their own opinions?
Yep.
Not actual facts?
Yeah.
So how do we know that this is real? I mean, don't get me wrong, you've done all your research to know that it's actually being voted on, it just has to go through their process.
It's hard to regulate something like this.
Right. So it's this is a PolitiFact. This is one of the most well-known fact checkers. Also giving you false information, saying that, oh no, this has already failed. It hasn't done. You can't
Zach,
do it.
it's their truth.
It just makes no sense.
It's so upsetting.
It's
it's so depressing.
At what point do people wake up and say, you shouldn't have to fact check a fact checker? In fact, you probably shouldn't even have a fact checker to begin with. But, that's, whatever.
Right, shouldn't you learn how to do things yourself instead
Right.
of depending on somebody doing the research for you?
Right. And who's teaching these people what's a fact and opinion?
Yeah. The article links to another article by the conservative outlet, The Gateway Pundit, which uses the Assembly voted to advance Ramthun's resolution, which says, the Assembly voted to advance Ramthun's resolution. This is not what happened. There was no vote. Here's what Assembly Majority Leader Jim Steinke, a Republican, tweeted late Tuesday night. Disinformation spreads quickly. Here's what happened in the Assembly tonight. Ramthun introduced a resolution with zero support, no co-sponsors, because it was a privileged resolution. It has to be referred to committee. It was referred to rules. There was no vote on it. It's being referred to rules. Like I led in the beginning. There was no vote. Nobody voted on anything. It's just being checked.
Right. It's more of saying, is this something you need to do?
Yeah.
It's going to a committee that's going to check their laws and say, do we need to decertify because of this?
Mm-hmm.
That's really what they're trying to figure out.
It's not... we haven't done anything yet. Nothing's done.
Right.
Here's how the Wisconsin Assembly handles privileged resolutions according to its rulebook. Any resolution or joint resolution relating to the officers, members, former members, procedures, or organization of the Assembly or Legislature is privileged in that it may be offered under any order of business by a member who has the floor and may be taken up immediately before all other proposals, unless referred by the presiding officer to a standing committee or to the calendar. So Steinke, as required, referred Ramthun's resolution to the Rules Committee he chairs. It appears he has no interest in moving the resolution forward. Earlier on January 25th, he tweeted that Ramthun's attempt to recall Wisconsin's presidential electors is illegal and unconstitutional. As chair of the Rules Committee, there is zero chance I will advance this illegal resolution, he tweeted, with the hashtag end of story.
Ooh.
So, like I said the other day,
Right.
I don't know if there's much to this. This is something that happened. take it as you wish.
Yeah, it is pretty surprising.
Is there, like, a time frame in which the election results can be questioned? Like, because I feel like a year after the election, it's like, okay, well, they've had a year to do stuff.
I was gonna say it's gonna mess with
Right, and
people.
they did it with Trump the
It's
entire
gonna-
4 years.
Right?
Like,
Or no, at least the one.
that's how you
Yeah.
actually get to like a civil war, because like people are just like, what the heck is going on? We need some
Right.
order here. We need some understanding of what's going on.
Like, there has to be a point at which we say, okay, yes, we know that there may have been discrepancies, or there's people that believe there may have been discrepancies. We're past this point of there's something we can do about it, because we're a year into this fucking term. We'll look at this at the next election.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to work on this to
There's-
make it better.
But it's like, the one thing that would make it better is to get rid of these vote boxes and get rid of this vote by mail.
And I think that's what we're seeing is, like, Wisconsin just said, like, it was illegal. Like,
Mhm.
a judge just
Yep.
said, like, no, you can't do that. That
This
was
is
illegal.
unconstitutional. This is against our constitution.
Right.
Ramthun has been a vocal denier of Biden's election victory and was recently disciplined by Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos for making false election claims, according to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Biden won the state by more than 20,000 votes, and there has been no evidence of widespread voter fraud. A recount of state results actually awarded Biden 87 more votes, the AP reported.
Ah, yes, the typical argument.
You know what I don't understand? When people say, oh, we need to recount the votes, what is a recount going to do? Like, you're just recounting the same votes. Like, you're not looking
Yep.
at the votes, where they came from, who they were. You're just counting the ballot again.
And when they actually did an audit, they only did it of one county, and they found thousands of ballots that were just messed up. What if you did it throughout the state? Yeah, you might have certain counties that are less than that, but it
Right.
still might be a very large amount throughout, and it could have possibly flipped Arizona,
Right.
because Arizona was definitely one that I was a little bit surprised that Trump lost.
And I feel like it's one thing to have, you know, issues in larger counties or larger cities, because it's like, obviously the more ballots you have to count, the more you're
Yep.
going to fuck up. Like,
Mhm.
that's just, human error is inevitable.
Absolutely.
But if you do it for the whole state and you see that, like, there's a lot of discrepancy in a lot of places, like, that shows you that something is wrong.
Well, if you're seeing it in a concentrated place, like maybe you should look at like
Right, exactly.
the entire area.
Like, because why is
Yeah.
one county showing thousands of ballots messed up?
Yeah.
Like, I could see your entire state saying thousands of ballots are messed up. Like, that's what
Yeah,
it
people
should
make
be.
mistakes quite a bit.
Right. Like,
They
that
made
one
a
county
whole
might need to
bunch
go back
more
to school.
this time.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and how do you find, well, I guess 87 more votes for Biden would make sense. You could find more votes for the other person. But, like, if you're really just recounting the votes that you already have, how do you, you know?
I see where you're coming from.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It doesn't add up.
It really added up.
Yeah, it did. It was just a random spike in a curve that's never supposed to spike. But okay.
Did Biden steal the election?
Probably. But
I
who
think
knows?
so. That spike is weird.
It is.
But thank you for joining us this week. If you like this video, check out this end clip. Don't forget to subscribe. Anything else you guys want to say?
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, enjoy your week.
Yeah.